must be something to that.
Shaun and I, maybe that'll be the first thing we talk about how drunk I got at the replacements.
You want to save it for the...
We'll save it for the podcast.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Woo! Of course, the replacements here for breakfast, but also Shaun O'Sullivan's theme song.
Hey.
Gotta love that.
Shaun O'Sullivan from the 21st Amendment, who is our sponsor of this fine podcast, and without the delicious free beer that he gives us, it probably wouldn't be possible to put it on, because that's how we bribe people.
Are here to drink the beer.
Exactly, they're here to drink your delicious beer. So thank you for that. Yeah, it's more true than you know. And speaking of the replacements, last year in 2 years ago now, nearly 2015, it was opening day 2015. So the Giants were playing, and the Giants were playing a day game, and then the replacements were playing that night at the Masonic.
Right?
And I called it the greatest day of life. So Shaun and I got tickets to go and see opening day. We went to the 21st Amendment beforehand. He was late. I never ate any lunch.
As usual.
And we ended up drinking all day long at the ball game.
We did.
And then we went to my house and drank some more.
We did. Your wife was...
This isn't looking so good. I have to say that we did Uber everywhere, by the way.
Yeah, we were responsible.
And then we went to the replacements, and I haven't been that drunk in forever.
No, you were out of your mind.
Out of my mind.
I felt like it was like our first date, and you went over the edge.
I did. I didn't cause any trouble or whatever, but I was kind of wobbling.
You were
around.
having a good time.
I was having a good time.
Yeah.
I was having a good
You
time.
didn't do anything embarrassing?
No, I didn't. It was all good, but that was.
No.
You didn't kiss
But
12.
that was a fun night.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So
I gotta
anyway-
tell you, this feels like an old cardigan that's been like gone to the dry cleaner. It's come back. It feels great. I mean, we haven't done this in a long time.
A long
I
time.
mean, and
it's so nice, right?
Yeah, and it's afternoon, and this is great. It's great to be on the show.
That was
Glad
the
you
other
guys are
part.
doing this.
The other part of this is that when Shaun used to do our show on the radio, it was at 6 or 7 or 8 in the morning. And so we couldn't really drink.
No,
I
but we
did.
did. We did.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I was a good sport. I tried everything he put in front of me.
And we should tell the origins of how Shaun started as our beer guy on
I
the
don't
radio.
even remember this.
Well, we used to have a wine guy called Bartholomew Broadbent.
that guy.
Bartholomew Broadbent was a very proper British gentleman.
Yes.
You know, he was awfully...
Cabernet.
Well, something like
He
that.
spoke he did speak very softly,
Yeah.
and he spoke at the wine. It was like very NPR.
Yeah, it was very NPR. So Bartholomew used to talk about wine, and then every day I'd get off the air and there'd be a nasty phone message from some guy called Shaun O'Sullivan.
Some guy.
Going, well, I didn't know you. Going, hey, because I was the producer of the show, and he goes, why do you have that stupid wine guy on? You need a beer guy. No one cares about wine. People care about beer.
I did say something like that.
So after about 2 years of harassment, we finally...
You came down to the 21st Amendment at 563 2nd Street, that's my plug,
Yeah.
and you walked in the brewery, and I was like, who is this man with a K-Fog gear on? And it was you.
Yes.
And you said, we'll have you on the air, and that's back when Dave was on, Dave Morey was on, and I was scared to death because Dave Morey was the voice of Bay Area radio, and I was just, every time I thought at the end of that show, that was it.
Yeah.
No more, and I would call Greg up, he'd go, no, you were fine. That's what Greg
Because
actually-
suddenly I'm a cockney from an Oliver Twist.
You're all right. Bring your beer. You'll be okay, mate.
Chip old chap.
You're cleaned out your
All right.
smokestack.
To be fair though, it was hard because Dave he wasn't drinking the beer.
No, he didn't do
He just
anything.
kind of like
just
started
looked at- yeah.
the show, and then we took over, and
Right.
Dave just
Yeah.
would
It was a
sit
lot of
there
fun.
and stare across at you. So that would be.
And everything was, all the segments were less than 5 minutes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah.
So, but it's great to be back. This is
It is
fantastic.
And
so.
thank you.
And Shaun, I want to first of all, so Shaun, they have their pub, the 21st Amendment pub is on 2nd Street, like you just mentioned, but they've opened up a brewery. They brew all their own beer now. A massive brewery in San Leandro, and it's really massive. It's the size of a city block.
It's like it's a couple
in
football fields.
A couple of football fields, and it's in the old Kellogg's
Yep.
factory. So they made a beer to commemorate that called Toaster Pastry, and I've never had this before. I'm having it right now, and it's meant to taste like a Pop-Tart.
Well, it's gonna actually, if you drink a couple of those, it's gonna be like that Night of the Replacement show. So
Oh, is it really strong?
yeah, it's strong. It's,
What's considered strong?
well, it's like 7. And,
oh my God,
yeah,
that
yeah.
is strong.
So anyway, so we they used to make Pop-Tarts at our brewery down in San Leandro's, an old Kellogg's factory, where they made those sugar cereals that we loved and grew up with as kids. And they made Pop-Tarts as well, so we couldn't call it Pop-Tarts, so we wanted to do an homage to it. So we created a beer called Toaster Pastry, and it's essentially the direction is that as if you're biting into a Pop-Tart. So the malt is reminiscent of the crust of it, because I'm using like biscuit malt and all this good stuff, and then also the hops are somewhat citrusy and have a jammy
Almost
quality to it. So
creamy. I get creamy.
yeah,
Is it creamy?
it's an India Red Ale or an IPA, and it's actually won a couple of medals. So there you go.
And things in general are going really well for the 21st Amendment, because you're employing a lot of people locally. You used to brew your own. They used to brew their beer on the other side of the country.
We actually still do that a little bit. We brew it in the Midwest in Cold Spring, Minnesota, but we have about 106 employees right now.
Wow.
That's and that's all. Those are all mostly Bay Area folks. We have people selling beer across the country, so it's a nice little industry.
Dovetailing off what you just said, we posed questions to the audience, beer questions.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and actually this question is to that. Is it harder now to be a craft beer brewer, or is it easier? Because so many people have gotten in the game. Does that make it easier or harder for you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So is it easier right now to be a craft brewer? There's over 5,000 craft breweries across the country. I mean, which is a huge amount of breweries. Back when we first started the San Francisco Brewers Guild in San Francisco, there were 8 of us. That was back in the early 2000s. Now I think there's 28 breweries. Wow. So there's more and more. So there's more eyeballs and more. You're having to sort of get the attention of people out there wanting to drink your beer. So if you want to be a craft brewer, there's a lot of jobs out there to take up. So.
And in San Leandro alone, San Leandro's kind of become this weird little East Bay hamlet of
weird
breweries.
Little? Is that,
well,
is that like a slight on San Leandro?
No, it's not a slight on
We're already the redheaded stepchild to Oakland as it is. So why are you playing into my insecurity
I'm not.
right
All
now?
I'm saying is it's peculiar that San Leandro would have 3.
We do. We have
brewers.
We have Cleophas Quealy, which is a funny little word or name, started by 2 guys, Dan and Pete from. They used to work at Google. And then there's Drake's Brewing Company, which is on the other side of the fence, which has been around forever. So it's actually becoming a nice little hub for that, and great craft beer bars as well.
We talked to Lucas, Ohio Patty, about he brews his own cider, and first of all, are you concerned about somebody muscling in on you?
No, but I want you to call me Shaun Paul O'Sullivan for the drink.
Shaun Paul O'Sullivan.
No, I'm not worried.
Sounds like my parish priest when I was 10.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just go and say these things.
But what about the cider's kind of making a bit of a splash right now?
Well, cider's always been popular. I mean, it's been around forever, and it's coming back because a lot of people are gluten intolerant, and I like cider. I've made cider at home before, and it's another alcoholic craft industry that's welcome. So.
In Ireland, when you're 15, basically what you do is you go and buy what's called a flagon of cider. It's a 2-liter plastic bottle of cheap, disgusting.
Sounds like you've had that before.
Yes, I have. You buy Strongbow was the brand of
that was
choice.
yours.
Exactly, and you go into a bush somewhere and you would drink that on a Saturday afternoon. Good times.
We have video of that. So.
Yeah. Do we have more questions from the
Oh
audience?
yeah, we have a lot. How many pints in a keg?
What is this, a math?
I think my brother probably posted that.
If a train left Chicago with 24 kegs on it.
I think there's like 120 something or like that.
And to follow that, how many beers in a crawler?
A crowler?
Crowler. I'm sorry. Crowler.
Or is it a growler?
No,
It's
there's
like
a growler
so
and a crowler. And what's the difference?
So like you said, we only put our beer in cans and in kegs. So a crowler is a cross between a growler and a can. So you've all been to like tap bars where they have the glass bottles and they fill them up. Ours, we have this can. It's a 32 ounce, so that's 2 16-ounce pints for the answer. And you get whatever you want on tap. You fill it up. We seam it up and you walk away. And then you go in the bush and you drink it later.
What's the guy's name who owns Sam Adams?
That's Greg Cook.
somebody Cook. I don't think it's Greg Cook.
No, isn't it?
It's somebody Cook.
Is it?
Jim Cook.
Jim
Sam
Cook.
Cook.
Jim Cook.
Yeah.
We used to, back when I worked in Live 105, we used to have Jim Cook on as a guest. And he would drink, like, because he was kind of, he does his own commercials, so he was a celebrity in and of himself. Yeah. And he would drink from morning to night. So, and I know you do it, but I
do exactly
the
same.
No, all I'm saying is because you're out there, not only are you the owner and proprietor and the brewmaster, but you go out and promote your beer.
Yeah.
So you have to drink a lot, huh? Like when you go to brewing conventions, is everyone just like, I don't know how you stay sober.
Well, it is there's a lot of big people who drink a lot of beer. I'm not saying anything about big people, by the way, but I mean, there is that intoxicating aspect of it. By the way, Greg Cook is the owner of Stone Brewing Company. Okay. That's my recovery there. But no, you have to kind of watch out as you get older, as I have, and I urge everybody to drink responsibly, but you can have fun too.
Okay.
Do you guys make a non-alcoholic beer?
What's that?